Hello there. Thank you for choosing Sociamonials to run your social agency. Our software is going to help you add value to your clients and to your agency by not only managing social media, but also cracking open the referrals and the engagement that you may or may not be currently getting through social media. We do that by giving you deeper insights into which social posts are converting on your website, both in terms of leads and actual sales revenue on e-commerce sites. We also do that by giving you engaging campaigns like video testimonials, viral sweepstakes, referral sweepstakes, things that are going to generate real referrals for your clients. So let's dive in. I'm going to show you how to set up your agency and set up a client, and then we'll go through how to use the software. So the first thing I want to do is just show you around a little bit. The left side of the screen is going to be how you would access the different elements of the platform. We have a publisher, a marketing calendar, a reporting engine, and all reports are free. We don't have any limits on our reports. We have a campaign section that allows you to launch and manage your campaigns. This is where you approve social posts for your workflow within your team. And this is also where you are going to approve user-generated content for things like your photo contests and your video contests. You can generate share buttons for your clients to place on their white papers, their web pages, their emails, anything that they want tracked down to the lead and revenue level. And also you have a social CRM where you can see who's engaging with your brand. At the very top, we have a few navigation elements up here. This is where you would switch between your different clients. You can limit the search by starting to type, and then it will limit just so you can jump to it. So if you have 1,000 clients, you'll be able to very quickly find your client and switch to them. We also have help at the top, and our help offers videos, and we have live chat support for all of our plans. We also have a drop down here. This is where you're going to jump into other areas like managing users and your preferences and settings. You can also add integrations to each one of your workspaces for clients. So if they already have MailChimp, you'll be able to link up with their MailChimp account. Literally hundreds of other integrations we offer. And Agency Dashboard is where we're going to start out. This is where you manage all of your clients. So I'm going to jump into the Agency Dashboard. So here's where you're going to see all of your clients. Going across the top, we have our Workspace Management tab. This is where all of your clients will appear. We have our single sign-on setup and our white label. First thing I want to do is show you white label. If you have 5 or more clients set up, then you can access the white label platform. This allows you to change the company logo, the favicon that appears at the top left, to the left of your URL in the browser. You can change all the colors in the entire software. You can change fonts. You can use your own custom domain, and we highly recommend this. So if your agency is Acme, then you could make your entire software app.acme.com, for example, and that's where all of your teammates would log in, and that's even where your clients would log in. And when they do so, they're going to see your logo right here. Now, other settings, you could do things like change the tutorial videos to your own. You can change to using your own support portal, so our chat widget will go away and be replaced with yours. And you can also add a custom email server. There are a bunch of free services out there where you can get an SMTP, which allows all of the emails, like the approval workflow emails, to come from your agency. So it might come from mail. Like let's say it's info@acme.com if that's the name of your agency. So what this allows you to do is have a complete white label experience where the Sociamonials brand isn't used anywhere. Your clients will literally think that you've invested all the money to creating this amazing tool. Single sign-on is where you're going to allow teammates that manage multiple clients to have a single sign-on that they can sign into, and they will still have discrete permissions across each one of those clients. If you have a huge client, you might not want one of your teammates to be able to see, all of their customer personal information and access all of those social profiles. Well, you're going to be able to limit on a case-by-case basis exactly what they have access to. And this is the tab where you do that. So the Workspaces tab, this is where you would add new workspaces, and we're going to do that in a moment. You also have social profiles. So each one of these social profiles means like a Twitter account or a Facebook page or a Facebook group, for example. Those would all go in your social profiles. So you've seen that this particular agency has only used 13 of 330 available. So what we do is we pool all of your available social profiles in your plans, and we do the same thing for campaign entries. So if you have one really heavy user, like a big client, then they're going to borrow social profiles and entries from some of your other workspaces, and that's fine. That's why we pool them. So you don't need to upgrade a workspace to enterprise or something if you have one really large client. So on the right side, you're going to see workspaces, and this is how many workspaces that you've used, and this is how many you have available. So down below is a list of all of your workspaces. From here, you can actually go in and edit the settings of the workspace, preferences, users, and you can detach the workspace. So a little different than some of the other platforms out there, we don't have a central user management place. The users are managed at each workspace individually because each one of them has very discrete permissions, much more so than any other platform you've used. So in order to offer that level of customization, we actually do that within the workspace themselves. So what I'm going to do in this case is add a brand new workspace. Let's say we just signed up Ferrari. So I'm going to create a workspace. If let's say Ferrari already had a Sociamonials account, I could actually import that account and convert it to a workspace. But since it's a brand new client of mine, I'm going to create a workspace and we're going to call it Ferrari. So now instead of 5 of 7 workspaces, I'm going to have 6 of 7. So there's only one remaining, and I might want to call my account manager and ask for additional workspaces. But in this case, we already have Ferrari here. So what I'm going to do is, you'll notice that you can immediately jump to Ferrari from the top nav. Let's do that just so we can go and set up this account. So now we're in our Ferrari workspace, and as you can see, it's totally empty. We haven't done anything with it. So the first thing I want to do is set some preferences. So I'm going to click this button and click Add Account. So let's start adding some social profiles here. So what I can do now is just start adding Instagram accounts, Twitter accounts, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can add your YouTube channel and even Google My Business now. So let's add a LinkedIn account. Just enter the credentials and then it will be added. So we would continue this process until we had a whole number of workspaces or different social profiles added. The next thing you want to do while you're in your preferences is just make sure that everything else is set the way you want. Default usually works fine. A couple of things I want to point out is the conversion tracking code. This is what you would want to send your client if they have online assets. So Ferrari has a website, obviously, but they don't have an e-commerce site. If they did, you would probably want to send them the shopping cart order confirmation page pixel. This is already created for you. Just copy this and send this to your client. In this case, they almost certainly have a lead conversion event on their website, so you'd want to send them this pixel. For example, Ferrari might have a, take a test drive sign up on their website or find a dealer. They might choose to add this pixel to their find a dealer page. So if somebody gets that far down the sales funnel, they would probably want to count that as a conversion because that's a really high value event on their website. And this way, your tool, the Sociamonials tool, will be able to report that in real time for all of their social posts and their campaigns and their share buttons all automatically. So just ask them to add this in the HTML of their website. You can also create custom tracking events. So let's say they did have a test drive. account or test drive option on their website. You can click Add Custom Tracking Event. Just come up with a name for this. We'll call it Test Drive. And it's already created the pixel for them. You would just want to send them this pixel. And down below we have email notification. So what happens with this is if Ferrari wants to use their own email domain for all of their campaigns, they could do that here and set that up using your mail server. If you don't do that, what it's going to do is default to the agency mail server. So the email, like let's say you're using info@acme.com for your agency, that is the email server that will be used. So if they want to use their own, this is where you would set that up. You can also create an HTML template and apply it here. I'm sure Ferrari has a beautiful email template already. If you can get that HTML from them, you can add that custom HTML here, and all of the notifications in our system for all of our campaigns will automatically be dropped into that HTML template. Furthermore, you can create custom campaign domains. By default, all of the campaigns will use your agency's URL. If the client says they want to use their own, this is where you would set that up. And any domain you set up here will override your agency domain settings. They can also set up white label applications for Twitter and LinkedIn for referral campaigns where people are going to be authenticating their Twitter and LinkedIn. Next thing we're going to want to do is jump back over to the publisher and get things set up after we save our changes. Instagram. Okay, so changes are saved. Let's jump over to the publisher. Now from here, let's select a LinkedIn profile just so I can give you an overview of how the publisher works. There are several settings within the publisher that we want to set up before we even start sending posts. The most important one is the scheduler. And the reason for this is we want to automate as much of your agency processes as possible. And no doubt when you create a new client, you had a process of pitching them. What I want you to be able to do is take that pitch deck and turn it into automation. So go ahead and flip through your pitch deck and find the place where you told them what you're going to be doing for them. Namely, the schedule. I'm sure you had a social media schedule that you put in front of them that they approved. So what I want you to be able to do is load that schedule into our system. That way, all your social person has to do is just start adding messages into the queue, set them to re-queue, and it will automatically be posting these messages at the right time, on the right days, for the right category. So the first thing I want to do is jump into the schedule, and let's convert that pitch deck to an actual schedule. So first thing you want to do when you jump into your schedule is take a look at our defaults. We have some default categories and default schedule items. First step is making sure the categories match up. When you pitch Ferrari, I'm sure you're going to have specific types of posts that you want to send out for them. This is where you have a chance to delete posts that just don't matter to Ferrari and add posts that do. So they may choose to add a category for, something like technology, if they have a lot of new tech that comes out with their cars. That way you've got a very specific category that you can routinely post to. Once you have your category in place, and you can add them by clicking the plus sign, the next step is to jump down to the actual schedule itself and start plugging in the times and days that you want posts to go out. So here's how you think about an automation schedule. This is a weekly schedule where every single week, when one of these items comes around, like this one is Monday at 8 o'clock, at this time, Sociamonials is going to go into your content queue and pull up the most recent post that is at the top of the list. So I'm going to jump into this. So at Monday at 8, during this posting time, we are going to look for a post that was sent to any of these 3 categories. And if it finds one, it's going to send them at 8 o'clock on Monday. It's only going to send it to these particular networks. So you may say to your client, that, you know what, Twitter works the best on Monday mornings, Facebook and the rest of them work better Monday afternoons. So you can create separate schedule items for Twitter and a separate one for all the rest down in the afternoon. So you'll want to spend some time here and just make sure that your schedule is set up to represent what you promised them in your pitch deck. So I am going to show you a couple things on the right. This is more advanced, maybe for later, once you've generated some more data by using the software for at least a couple weeks. You can create things like tactical overlays, which will show you over your existing schedule when people are clicking, when people are converting to leads, when they're converting to sales, and even when they're requesting test drives. So any custom conversion events will be listed here, and it will actually drop an overlay showing you which times and days are the best. But again, we don't have any data yet because they're brand new. Next thing I want to do is import some posts. So if I have a CSV file, I can actually import even a year's worth of posts if you already have them written in an Excel format or anything that is comma separated values. So all you need to do is download the example and you can create bulk posts and upload them to our system. That way you never need to use our publisher. You can have 200 posts. You can upload those just by selecting the profiles you want them to post to, select a category to tag those with, and finally select your final selections here and you can add it to your queue. Other points of automation are RSS feeds. Now with RSS feeds, what you can do is completely automate some of your content marketing for Ferrari. So for example, they might have a YouTube channel. You can actually set up your YouTube channel within the RSS feed editor, and it will automatically post any new video to the queue. You just set up, which profiles you want it to go to. We will actually generate the message from either the link title and description or either or. Just paste in the RSS feed URL and we do the rest. So you can have multiple RSS feeds running at the same time. The most common way people use RSS feeds is, let's say that your client has their own blog. You can enter that blog RSS feed here. That way, every time their blogger sends something, it will immediately send that to social media and add that to the queue in just the right category. Another way people use it is other people's RSS feeds. So if Ferrari has, they tend to follow Road and Track, and Road and Track has a really great RSS feed for sports cars. They can actually post this here. And here's a little pro tip. Click on the hold posts for your approval, and this acts like a content generation machine for you. Now, every single article that Road and Track posts is going to show up in their queue on hold. So they'll be able to go through that, and your social media person, when they see a good one, they can remove it from the hold, maybe make some tweaks to it, and then publish that on Ferrari's feed. So that's a great time saver for your team. Next, I'm going to jump over to the publisher and show you how to send a post. So let's say we just added some testimonials to www.ferrari.com. What our software does is we're going to notice if you add a URL. So as soon as we notice that URL, we're going to go out to it, scrape it, and attach that link here, and we're going to pull in photos here. So as you hover over, you'll see that you can actually scroll between the different photos. I can add additional photos. You can do that by choosing your library, and your asset library can hold all of your client's assets. You can even grab all of their assets and drag them here and bulk upload them to your library. You can also grab free stock images. You have over 1 million images available just by searching here, and they're all free for you to use. It was included in your plan. You can also directly just upload a new photo as well. So some of the things we can do to make our post look a little nicer. So let's just show you here, taking testimonials, we can bold that. Ferrari.com. We can italicize that. Here's where you would add your image. You can even add a video. You can add emoji. And over here, you can add hashtags. So we have a hashtag manager built in. So we haven't added any hashtag groups yet. So I'm going to add a hashtag group. And from here, let's just call this sports cars. So from here, we can add Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn hashtags. Just hit enter and it'll drop to the next line automatically and start adding your hashtags. So from here, I would just add as many hashtags as I want. And once you're done with this, like let's just drop a couple more in the different networks. So what we will do is we will randomly pick however many hashtags you want for each social network. Like you might only want one in LinkedIn and maybe up to 10 in networks like Twitter and Twitter and Instagram. And Facebook posts usually have more like 4. So you can tailor it to your needs or your client's needs, and this will save you a lot of time. Here's how it works. Once you save this, now what I can do, add a space here, and I can select the sports car group, and it's going to add them over here on the right side. All of your social network previews will be appearing here on the right side. So notice how it only added one randomly to the LinkedIn because we asked it to only add one, so we're not spamming our LinkedIn connections. If you want to make any changes to a social profile, just click the text inside the profile and you can make changes that are more network specific, like share with colleagues might be more appropriate for LinkedIn than any other network. And notice you can also add emoji, bold, italics, and your hashtag group directly within your social network. So once you have all of your social networks looking the way you want, the next important thing is to add a category. So since we're talking about something more technical, we can call this tips. Then the reason this is important is the category is going to determine which of your social weekly schedule items it's going to post to. So if you have all of your tips go out on a Friday, and that's how you set up your schedule, you'll just be able to add this to queue, and our system will automatically send it out on Friday. We're going to email this to ourselves when it's published, and we're also probably going to re-queue something like this. So what re-queue does is it's an automatic content recycling program that will go on as long as you'd like it to. So when you re-queue, it takes your post and adds it to the back of the line after it goes out the first time. So it's first going to queue like any other post, and instead of expiring automatically, it's going to expire sometime in the future. And I can specify when that time is. The default is forever. You can also have it for only a certain number of re-queues, or you can have it automatically expire at a specific date in the future. In this case, it's kind of timely, so I'm going to have only 2 re-queues. And at that point, I'm set to add it to the queue. Other options here are to publish it immediately, or I can add it at a very specific date in the future. I can add it at an optimal time, and the way this works is, and this is not going to work yet because it's a brand new account, after a few weeks of using the software, we're going to figure out when the best time to post is, and we're going to drop that in right here. I'll be able to choose other dates too by looking at this chart. So once we have a few weeks of data, you're going to see a dark blue and a light blue here for when the best times to post are. And I can even optimize for my custom conversion events. So the software will automatically send it in the next 24 hours at a time that is most likely to convert based on wanting people to take a test drive. Other things I can do are to just simply save it as a draft if I want to send this out later, or I can add it to the queue. Let's do that. So now the post has been added to the queue. The next thing I want to do is show you the marketing calendar. And to do this, I'm going to jump in. We're not going to see a lot of data there at this point. All we can see now is this future one that we've added. So this is going to go out tomorrow. If you click on an item, it'll bring up some details about it, allow you to copy, edit, or delete it. For future items, what you can do is drag them if you want to change the time. If it was a scheduled item, this is a queue item, so what it's going to do is warn me. Are you sure you want to change this? Because this is a queue item. So the better way to change a queue item is to go into your schedule and change the scheduled time. If you have an item that was posted in the past, you have the ability to drag that post to a future time, and it will actually copy that item to the future. You can also see how well posts do within the calendar by using tactical overlays. So once you have a few weeks of data, this will tell you when the best time to publish is for the future. And it will also overlay information like post ranks, and it will show you how well your previous posts have done right there at a glance. So the next thing I want to show you guys is the campaigns. This is the true power of Sociamonials. The ability to generate actual engagement and actual referrals for your clients is really what's going to set your agency apart. If you're only publishing to social media, it doesn't matter how talented you are, there's going to be some amount of engagement and actual commerce that you're generating for your client. You're going to be leaving something on the table. And if you want to take it to that next level and generate real results that they can quantify at the end of their fiscal quarter, this is how you're going to do it. So we have over 60 preset campaigns that are ready to launch. So you can go through all of these or you can just filter them. And these are just starting points. You can create your own from scratch. You can change these with our editor. But the first thing I like to do is use our filter to find something that would work for your client. So if what they're looking to do is have something that's more viral, that will get them a lot of referrals, then I would click viral, and then it's only going to pull up ones that have that virality. So I'm going to show you how these work by creating one. As you hover over, you have setup instructions. So you can see here, and this is separate, so you can leave this up as you're going through your campaign. You also have a preview, so you can see how the campaign is going to look when it's launched. And this is fully functional. You can actually sign up for this. Or I can actually just use the template, which is what I'm going to do. So when you click that, our software is going to go out and create a complete campaign, start to finish, in about 10 seconds. So the nice thing about that is all you have to do is just go in and edit the settings that are specific to your client. So what I would do is I would drop down a bit and make sure everything that needs to be added is added. I would certainly want to add rules. This is Ferrari, it's a big client, and you would want to check with their legal team on the exact language, and you would paste that in here or link to their rules if they prefer to host it. The submission form, you would probably want to tweak this a little bit for Ferrari, like they might have additional questions. So I'm going to edit this form. So what we can do is add any of these field types. So I'm going to scroll down and let's add a custom field type. So let's choose a date, and I'm going to add this after the last name. Schedule a test drive. So from here, you have some edit capabilities. You can choose a date format. You know, if this is your European branch, then you might want to choose something like this as a date format. This is the USA Ferrari, so we are going to use this particular date format. And once you have it looking exactly the way you want, and as you can see when they click on this, you know, they would actually get a calendar that they can choose with an exact time. So now that I've added this, I'm going to preview it. Here's how our form is going to look, and all of the formatting will be done on the next step. So I'm going to exit the preview, save this. Let's come up with a name. We'll call this Ferrari default. And we'll set this as our default for next time. So now that we have our form, we're going to want to integrate this with any platform that they already have. So let's say they're using MailChimp or Salesforce. What you can do is integrate those platforms. If you haven't done it yet, you'll want to click this and go into integrations. And with just a username and a password, you'll be able to add most of the top tier CRMs or email service providers. And at that point, you would just want to select the one that applies to their company. We also have Zapier, webhooks, HTML forms integrations for something more custom. And what this does is as anybody enters their viral sweepstakes, it will automatically drop that into their email service provider. Next is our email notifications. We already give you standard default email notifications down here, and we already select the right one that's appropriate for your campaign. If you want to modify it, just click Edit. And from here, you can change the sender information. You can even add personalization, like their first name with an exclamation mark, just to get a little more personal. It really depends on your client and what their brand personality is. Down below, you would probably want, if you haven't already added their HTML template, this is where you might want to add a logo. It just drops in the name of the company. You might want to be more specific with their footer, that sort of thing. But all of the personalized fields are here, like the short URL for those tracked referrals. All of that information is right here in Insert Personalization, so you can really customize how the email looks and drop personalized fields in so every single entrant has a really great experience. And everything is done with a simple to use HTML editor. Let's go ahead and save this one. So now that we have our notification, I'm going to look at our sweepstakes options here. We are going to have this winner selected only once per campaign. Start immediately. The deadline looks fine. And down below is where we start to have some fun. Okay, we can have confetti rain down after they enter and allow unlimited entries. But the how to earn entries section is really where we determine what we want people to do with our viral sweepstakes. So as you look down here, there's quite a few challenges that you can issue people that take your sweepstakes in order to earn bonus entries. And this is a great way to grow your clients' Instagram, grow their Twitter, grow all of their social networks. So for example, you can use things like follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and all you need to do once you check this is make sure everything looks good. If you want to change the icon, you can do that very simply. The colors, but the specific thing that you're going to need to do is enter the YouTube channel of your client. So what I'm going to do, you can also create custom bonus challenges if you'd like. If you don't like any of our standard ones, next step is to continue. And here's where you would design exactly how you want it to look for your client. Literally everything on here is customizable. All you need to do is click on an element and you can delete it, modify it, like giveaway. This is all just HTML, so you can type directly in there and change it. You can change even the countdown timer, and again, you have a simple HTML editor. If you're more comfortable using HTML, you can switch and change this particular header block to HTML and work with it that way. You also have your form over here, and this is where you can add your formatting. So whatever you click on the right side will expand on the left, and these sections over here are where you can get really detailed in how you want it to look. For example, like this hover over effect. Right now it's currently set to white, but you can have an on hover background color that's a little different, and it's really not that difficult to add. So let's actually choose this over here. So I'm going to choose a background color, and the hover is white. So I can change the hover to gray as well. I'm not saying it's a good idea because these colors are terrible, but your designer is going to come up with something absolutely fantastic, and I'm just demonstrating how simple it is to do. On the left side, there's another block over here that you can adjust. You can add images. You can even add an additional countdown timer down below. You have a custom content block under the button as well. So when you click this, you can add and remove custom content blocks. Like I can add one below the submission form. And now I can click here and insert images. I can insert my countdown timer once again below the button to create that sense of urgency. So have fun with this one. On the left side, there are a lot of options for making this very personalized. A couple things I want to point out is the edit widget. All of your campaigns can be added to your client's Facebook page as a tab, as long as they have at least 2,000 likes on their Facebook page. You can also add these as iframes. You can add them as a tab, which would be just a little tab on the right side of the screen or the left side of the screen, wherever you want to place it, that will stay there as people scroll. And when they click that, it'll actually expand and let them engage with the campaign without leaving the page. You can also add a button where anywhere on the page you can drop that button. When they click it, it'll pop up a complete campaign that they can engage with, once again, without even leaving your client's page. And there's some advanced settings you can create, like delaying the pop-up, have it automatically open and close, fly in from the left or right. You get the picture. There's also an edit language section I wanted to show you. You can change any of the text in any of our campaigns. You can, if you're doing this overseas, you can translate it to over 100 different languages. At the click of a button, it's automatically going to translate all of the text for you. So that's a huge time saver. And on the right side, you can very quickly make tweaks for local dialects as well. So I'm going to switch that back. And save. Finally, the last tab I want to show you, or last section, is the advanced setting. You can change the SEO and OG tags of your campaign. You can block it from search engine indexing if it's private, or you can just go to town and change the SEO to match your client's target keywords. You can also change the page image that is used when it's shared on social media, and also the favicon of the campaign page. You can add tracking and retargeting tags. So if your client has a Facebook tag that they want to use to optimize their Facebook paid advertising, for example, you can add that to all campaign screens by entering it here. If they have conversion tracking tags that they want to add that only show up when somebody signs up for the sweepstakes, they can add that here. You can also add custom CSS. So if any of the personalization options up at the top don't suit your needs, you can actually add it here as well. And the name of the company you would add here. We, by default, add your particular company there. So once we're done with how that looks, we'd want to make sure it looks good in mobile. We automatically create mobile versions. So here we might want to drop this down a bit. Let's try 26 to make sure it looks good on mobile as well. And everything stacks nicely. That looks good, so I'm going to jump back over to the thank you screen. So after they enter, this is how it's going to look. And from here, we can modify things. As you notice, when you hover over just about anything, you'll get an option over here to make edits. For some sections, you can actually hide complete sections. So here is our bonus entry challenge that we created to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This looks good, so I'm going to save and continue. That's it. Our software automatically creates your microsite URL. Your agency URL would be used here, or your customer's Actual URL would be used here if you're using a custom domain. You can generate a QR code. You can shorten this to something neat and tidy, and then you can copy this to your clipboard. This is also where you'll get all of your widget code. We create all of the code for you. Just all you need to do is copy that and send it to your client to pop into their HTML page. From here, you can also publish this campaign to social media and schedule some posts directly that will promote your sweepstakes. What I'm going to do is just show you how it looks, and let's sign up. So from here, you can see the countdown timer looks good. Everything looks fine, so I'm going to sign up. And here's where it's going to ask me to schedule a test drive. So let's do something in the future, and then I'm going to join now. So we get our confetti. It's going to tell me how many entries I've earned so far. It's going to ask me to share our tracked link, and it generates a unique one for every client and lets them share across all these channels. And also here's our bonus entry challenge. So when I click this, people will be able to visit our channel on YouTube and earn some additional points. So that is just one example. Like I said, there's over 60 different campaigns that you can choose from. So I expect you guys to get to work and create an amazing campaign. You can always reach out to us to chat, obviously, to ask about additional campaign options if you're struggling with coming up with an idea. I'm going to jump into approve. So this is where all of your submissions to your user-generated content will appear. From here, you'll be able to approve, make tweaks. If the message has something offensive in it, you would be able to jump in and make any edits to those. So your photo entries will be here. You can also switch to your video entries, your text entries for your, let's say, your caption contests or your essay contests, and social posts. This is where your team workflow will be managed. It should be noted, though, that your team workflow can also be completely managed from your queue if you wish. Next, we jump over to the share buttons. From here, you can actually create custom share buttons for your clients. Very simple to do. We have some default share button images, or you can upload your own. So the great thing about our share buttons is you can have multiple share buttons on a single page. We don't just share the page, we share specific assets to the social feeds. So you can tailor exactly what is going to be shared, including videos, and generate those buttons and give the deploy code to your client to pop into their HTML page, or even emails. Social CRM, there's really not a lot to show here. We only have one individual that's entered, and that's me. So from here, we could see all of their social connections if we had authenticated, and as well as their social images if I had followed through and actually shared to the campaign. You'll get a complete activity feed and even an activity trend for their referral and engagement activity, as well as any additional information that I entered at the time of entering that campaign. The status is automatically tracked for you, so if you're using a sale pixel or a lead pixel for this client, it will automatically move them down the sales funnel to a customer if they detect a sale has taken place, or you can manually edit it here. What's unique about our software is we also keep track of who referred that person to you. In this case, I was referred by Craig Sherman. But if you start to run some more complex campaigns where you have Jane recommending John, when you go into John's profile, it's going to say that Jane referred them and give you a link to their profile as well. And what's powerful about that is if your client has a CRM linked, like let's say Infusionsoft or Salesforce, we're actually going to pipe all of these details into your Salesforce account, so your client now has deeper social information that their sales team has at their fingertips to further personalize their conversations. You can even assign one of these clients that you find. Like if you have a customer that asks for a test drive, you'll be able to enter the salesperson's email address and a quick message to them, and we'll send them all of the details. So reporting is fairly robust with Sociamonials. Like I said before, we're one of the only platforms that will actually report on revenue generated from your e-commerce. So we give you all of the reports you need for your social posts. We have charts and KPIs for each social network. We are the only social network that we know of that actually generates a separate shortened link for each social network when you publish to social media. Most of them only generate one link that is shared across everything. The reason we have unique ones is so we can report back to you exactly the click-through and referral activity for every single network. So you really know which network is bringing in the revenue. So what I'll do is I'm going to switch over to one of our more active demo accounts so I can give you a little more information. If I jump back into reports, this is an 8-year-old demo account, so there's quite a bit of reporting information in here. So here's how a typical report would look. Each one of your posts would show up. You can actually click a bar and repost the message if you see a really good one. And here's the information over time. And here's the click-through information within the time frame that's specified. And notice that even your custom conversion tracking events will be automatically tracked and reported on a per network basis. My favorite report by far is the overview report. So here is all of the data from this client. And what we can see here is that all of these different campaign types, 32% came from the photo gallery. And what it's talking about is the KPI that I have selected. So right now I have referred visits selected. So if your client is asking you, where are my referred visits coming from, you can get really detailed. You can also choose any of these other KPIs as well. Like if they want to know, when are people asking for test drives, and what's driving those test drives, which activity, you'll be able to run that report and tell them exactly what is generating that. So for referred visits, for example, it's going to tell us that 78% of our referred visits was referred by Twitter. And the source of those was published messages. Campaigns only resulted in 3%. That's valuable data. So down below, I can see the different types of media that are driving those referred visits. In this case, photos are driving the most. The types of messages, the photo messages versus link type is the best one to send in social media. And it's also going to show us if we have a suite of 20 users, like 20 different employees on the agency team, it'll actually tell you which one is generating the most referred visitors for your client. So you can go and reward them. And it'll do that in total and in average. So the optimal times report is the only other one I wanted to show you. This report is very useful for most clients. A lot of people have questions about when is the best time to publish on social media. Well, it's really no question for your clients because we do all the work for them. So this will tell us that the best time to publish for the goal of getting more clicks is 12 p.m. on a Sunday. The second best time is right here, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. So as the colors get lighter, it becomes less optimal. But what's really powerful is you can change what your goal is. So as I mentioned before, if they have a custom pixel set up for requesting a demo, you'll be able to optimize for that, and you'll be able to tell your client exactly the best time to post to social media in order to get a demo. You can also filter for days of the week and specific social networks. So now that I've kind of run through some of these different features of the tool, just to give you guys a really kind of a quick start priority list, first thing I would do is go through your workspace settings and preferences and make sure that all of the defaults are there. Automation requires setup. And it takes a little time at first, but it's going to save you a lot of time over the long haul. Hopefully you're going to keep this client for a long time, and you don't want to be constantly doing the same tasks over and over. So take the time to set up the account properly. The next thing I would do, just to remind you, is to jump into your schedule, get your categories dialed in. Think of all of the different types of content you're going to post for that client over the next 6 months, maybe, and create a category for it to make it easy to start tagging those posts. Then within your schedule, you're going to want to be sure to set the times and the number of posts per day just the way you want. Import, if you want to do a big bulk import of posts, you can do that here. Set up your RSS feeds, and then just start adding content to the queue. The queue, when you jump in here, you're going to be able to make any changes and see upcoming posts. You're even going to be able to copy different posts that you might want to send out in the future, or delete them as well. And you also have a sent folder where you can see posts that you have sent out previously. And from here, you can do things like run verification reports. If the client wonders if it actually went out, you can prove that. Furthermore, within the sent folder, you can change a link. So if you sent a link out in error, you can actually go in here and change that link and then save it. Now, even if that's been retweeted and shared a million times, the link will actually go to the correct place. One last thing I want to mention about automation is we automatically add Google Analytics code to all of your links, and then we shorten the links for you. So up to 5 different links in your published messages will be tracked and shortened. If they don't use Google Analytics, be sure to go into the preferences, go down to Analytics integration, and change it. By default, every new client will have Google Analytics code, but you can very easily change that. And we dynamically create tags for every single post, every single campaign to show you in your Google Analytics where those visits were coming from. One last part of my quick start, I would create a viral sweepstakes for every new client. It's immediate engagement. We've had really small agencies be able to generate hundreds of new Instagram followers, hundreds of new Twitter followers, hundreds of views to that new YouTube video your client is dying to get traction on. You're going to be able to do that with the viral sweepstakes. To be able to incentivize people for sharing and for taking the exact actions that your client wants and they haven't figured out how to get, that's going to make you indispensable as an agency. So launch a viral sweepstakes. I would also launch a photo contest as soon as you can, even if it's just a 2-week contest around an upcoming event or something on the calendar like a holiday. In the run up to that, go ahead and launch a photo contest, come up with a really clever theme, and you will get so much goodwill for your client's brand. They'll be thanking you for weeks to come. So that is it for the training. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us for help by clicking this chat icon down below. And if you have anything you want to comment, you can do so right here in the description down below. And we appreciate your time.